Vested outsourcing. Because of all the difficulties tied to outsourcing in general, it's clear that a new approach needs to be taken. One that I feel is quite useful is called vested outsourcing. I'll describe the basic components of this approach, and I'll give you an example of where it was applied to great effect. The idea behind vested outsourcing is to create a win-win business model where the vendor can share in the rewards of effective operations. Responsibility is evenly shared with all the parties, both on your side and theirs. And the focus is continuously placed on results. The concept vested outsourcing is made up of 5 basic elements. Number 1, outcome-based instead of transaction-based. When handing over duties to a third-party supplier and payment is transaction-based, one shouldn't be surprised that goals like customer satisfaction are neglected. Should you be surprised? No. They are not being rewarded for this metric. Number 2, focus on the what and not the how. Let's assume we've hired the third-party supplier because it's their expertise. So why don't we just let them do their job? Number 3, clearly defined and measured outcomes. Your organization has objectives. Wouldn't you expect the activities of a third-party supplier to fall under these indicators? Number 4, pricing model with incentives. It's all about added value, isn't it? The situation does not create itself, so ensure that proper incentives have been set. Let me give you an example. You sign an agreement with a vendor for a fixed price for the entire assignment, but there is no incentive for the vendor to do anything more than what has been asked. What if you give the vendor some additional money if they are able to save you some? 10% of all money saved is a typical setup. This way, the vendor has a built-in incentive to save you money. This is only one example. You can use other metrics like time, stakeholder satisfaction, etc. Number 5, insight versus an oversight structure. What's more important, managing the business or managing the supplier? Make sure the third-party supplier is part of the team and is held directly accountable. This way, the controlling is automatically built into your processes. The best examples where this method has been successfully deployed were usually found within effective project management. I ran a project a while back where we needed outside expertise in the planning, the execution, and the support after deployment. What I did was bring in the supplier during the conception of the project to utilize their expertise, make sure they could live with the plan, and most importantly, make sure their goal was the same as ours. Detection and prevention was our mantra, and it allowed us to deliver the project on time and under budget, and it allowed us to exceed our operational metrics after deployment. We didn't have to pay them to tell us when we made mistakes because the incentives were built into the arrangement up front, and our structures fostered an environment of trust. Rely on the supplier's expertise. Make sure the metrics are clear. Build those incentives into the agreement from the beginning and make sure the vendor is an equal part of the team. That's vested outsourcing.